Hello everybody, welcome to the new year, and in 2019 I'm looking for a game to play. That's where the preface for this video comes. I finished Breath of the Wild just recently, just the other day, and it was an amazing experience. I loved it, but it left a hole in my heart because once you finish a game like that, once you finish a game that you put a lot of time into, you just don't know what to play next. You know, that was the game you were playing, and I don't know, it's over now. So I'm looking for a game to play, and I'm trying to look at, what are some newer games that came out or they're coming out. And the only thing really catching my eye right now is Anthem, and that's like a month away. So I'm kind of, what do I do in the meantime? And so I went back and I'm looking at some old multiplayer games because what game can I grind out? What's multiplayer or a short story? What can I go play right now? And I decided to look all the way back to Battlefront 2, a game that I very much was looking forward to, didn't have an opportunity to actually like dive deep into. So let's do that now. Let's just see, has it really changed since, the original release that I put a couple hours into? Has the game changed much at all? And the first, I guess, negative sign I'm getting is as soon as I get into the menu, it doesn't look like the menu's changed. No, I'm not expecting like a complete UI overhaul, but it kind of feels the same. I mean, the loot crate option is still there, and obviously it's not loot crates anymore. They're daily crates, and then I'm guessing they added just how you progress with certain customizations that they've added. I have no idea. Haven't followed this game enough, so I don't have much to comment on it, but customization, the menu options, everything kind of looks the same. And I don't know if that should be worrisome. That should be like a preface for the rest of this, the gameplay. What I'm going into. Is this like a troubling sign to come of what the gameplay is going to be like? Well, let me tell you.
Hello there.
As anybody could have guessed, I dove straight into Galactic Assault because that's the premier game mode. That is the big thing, the cinematic experience that Star Wars Battlefront has to offer. And the first map I'd never actually played before, except it doesn't feel original. It's a Death Star map, right? So I started and I was like, wow, I've never seen this before. Before I realized I was actually just on the Death Star and it was the crashed Rebel ship. So you go onto the Death Star and I'm like, wow, like, yeah, this looks good. I forgot about how good this game looked because it's DICE. It's beautiful. It's a graphically impressive game. I wouldn't expect anything less. So I'm playing it and I'm starting to realize maybe it's just a remaster, maybe it isn't. I didn't follow. I don't even know if this map was in the original game, but this is a rehash of the Death Star map in Battlefront 1 that EA put out. This isn't really original. At least parts of it might be original, but for the most part, I've kind of experienced this already, and I know what this plays like. Not really in Battlefront 2 systems, that is. And I do want to say, I didn't see any new weapons or classes. I wasn't expecting any new classes, but maybe some weapons weren't there. The star cards are still there. I think that's what they're called. Maybe not. And, they still seem kind of unfair, unbalanced. So unless you grinded it out and you're already maxed out in your star cards, you're kind of at a disadvantage. So, that is what it is. If you got skill, right, you can overcome that. That's fine. I'm not too worried about it. I kind of expected that, honestly. I didn't really see that system being replaced. But the one thing I do have to applaud them for is the squad system. That you are now playing kind of like in Battlefield, where you're playing with a squad of people, and there's not really a benefit like in Battlefield you can revive teammates if you're a medic and give ammo. You don't really need any of that in this game, but there is a squad system, and the biggest thing about that for me is that means there's a new respawn system where you can respawn on your squad unless they're in combat. That feels great. I'm really glad that's a thing. But, that's the only new addition that I personally at least experience. That's kind of key to gameplay. Not including like a map or a mode, which I'll get to later. But the only real difference I've seen so far, there's no loot crates, but the grind is still there. And there's a squad system, which is pretty nice for respawning. But other than that, this just kind of feels like Battlefront 2 to me. It doesn't seem like it's changed. But of course, that's only game 1. So, game 2, the end of the round, we checked our stats, we did all that good stuff. Game 2, and I've played this map before. I know I have, and so I don't know. It's still more of the same. I didn't really see anything new. The only thing I do really like about this game, things I picked up in definitely the second and my last match, I'll talk about later. My last Galactic Assault match, that is. The things I picked up, the heroes, they're not balanced whatsoever. But honestly, I think that's okay. I think that makes sense for a game like this, for Star Wars. I mean, you can't really balance someone that's supposed to be, like a Jedi Knight versus a bunch of droids. Like, it doesn't work. But it's okay. I'm honestly, like, that just makes sense to me. And so it's hard for me to get mad about it. Now, if they were so absurdly overpowered that you could never kill them, that's a different story. But I've played as a hero, and I've been stupid before, and I've just run in and gotten killed immediately and gotten, like, no kills. So, the hero, if they're smart, they can live forever, right? If they're smart, they can play it smart, they can win, they can stay the hero for 10 minutes and just dominate. But if you're dumb, like me, then you die. So I'm not too worried about it. And on top of that, when you're playing as a soldier, you're playing as a stormtrooper or a rebel, and you see like an enemy hero, it's honestly kind of intimidating. There's several times I'd be sitting there walking around, and I see an enemy hero coming, and I'm like, shoot, and I just book it. I just go the opposite way because I'm not up with that. I'm not playing against that. Not because I'm a coward or anything like that. No, I recognize that, holy crap, like, that's intimidating. There was even a scene towards the very end where, like, we're trying to defend this point, right? We're trying to defend it from, I think it was the rebels. And all of a sudden, like, I think it was Luke or these green lightsabers are just flying up to the balcony we're sitting on. And I'm like, holy crap, like, this is like, there's a beast down there and he's slaughtering everybody. I'm not going down there, like, screw that. And I think that was really cool. I think it really encapsulates what a hero is supposed to be in the Star Wars universe, and how they're supposed to play, and how they're supposed to feel to a regular soldier. Now, in terms of game design, that doesn't always make for a balanced game design, but it's something that I can let slide. It's something I understand, especially coming from, as a Star Wars fan. I understand that hero is not supposed to be balanced, per se, but they're not too overpowered, and I think that's alright. Now, given that's not really a change, that's just something I appreciate, having been away from this game for so long, that it does give you a little bit of that Star Wars experience. It helps you feel like you're in a Star Wars battle, at least the cinematic side of things. But other than that, this map I've played before. It's nothing new. I haven't. It's not like I've never seen this before. All right, well that's enough with Galactic Assault, right? Let's check out the space battles. It's been a long time. And those were really fun. I really enjoyed those.
Wrong.
Okay. So let's try the new Ewok mode. So this was an actual change. This is a brand new mode to Battlefront 2. They put this in, I believe it was the summer. I saw it. I think I saw a level cap video about it, and it looked kind of cool. Like it seemed kind of like a gimmick mode, but people really liked it, and I figured let's check it out.
Wrong.
Proved.
Okay. Galactic Assault. I haven't talked about this yet. So, here we are. We're going back to our third map, and it's another map I've played already. I've experienced this already, and there's not much to say that I haven't said so far in this video. It's kind of the same. The systems are the same. The squad system's nice, but it's just me rehashing. I've done this already, and I think that's a fundamental issue with the game, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit, about why the lack of change in this game. Which, that being said, let's talk about this real quick. This game's been out for a year and 3 months now, I believe, and the lack of change so far it's kind of just, it's off-putting, right? For a game that's supposed to have like a dedicated development post-season. I know not a lot of people are playing this anymore, but the game sold well. I mean, it still sold like 7 million or 11 million units or some absurd number, right? Something that other games would, strive to reach. And yet, just the lack of post-launch content, and I know they're trying to right that wrong right now. At EA's conference at E3, they announced that they're working on the Clone Wars era stuff. And since then, we've gotten one map on Geonosis, which I wasn't able to experience. We've gotten Obi-Wan, who I did see, and who's cool, you know, he's a hero, and General Grievous, who's another hero, but two characters and a map in, you know, a year, I mean, that's something that Rainbow Six Siege does in, you know, 3 months. And, like, why? Like, I get, you know, the maps in Battlefront 2 are far, far, you know, more detailed in terms of, like, graphics and canon and all that stuff. And it's a Star Wars license, so you gotta treat it properly, but seriously? Like, there's no new weapons, there's a little bit more customization, but not much. Like, it's just kind of baffling that there's so little content that's been added. And I know it's hard for me to do this Outlook thing, right? I'm looking for a game to play, and I know there's two more heroes. You're gonna have Dooku, you're gonna have Anakin, and you're gonna have a new game mode. But that game mode, I think, is what should have been there from the start. And I think fundamentally that's an issue with EA's Star Wars Battlefronts, is that they focused on, in comparison to Battlefield, right? They focused on the rush game mode, which is there's a couple of points that you have to take over. You have to, you know, either hold square or X or whatever it is, or F or, you know, whatever platform you're playing on, right? You have to walk up to an objective and hold that, or you just have to occupy it, right? And you have to go there and do that for a couple points, and then the map progresses. And Battlefront kind of changed it a little bit, where there's like some AT-AT walkers or whatever. Yeah, that's cool, but that's all the game is. It's based around that game mode, and I think that's an issue because the classic Battlefronts were based on conquest, and I think that's what people were kind of expecting from Battlefront, were these large-scale maps. You could have more players on these maps, you could have more things going on, and I think that would benefit the game drastically. I think the issue with heroes, right, is when you have 3 or 4 heroes per side, they're just kind of dominating the match and just slaughtering everybody, and there's tons of explosions. If you look at, you know, look at Attack of the Clones, people argue that's one of the worst with the Star Wars movies. When you see that giant battle on Geonosis, right, what some of these things are supposed to be based on, you don't see grenade, 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 grenade. You know, this isn't Metro from Battlefield 4 or 3, right? You're not just constantly exploding on the objective. It's this giant war, and I think that's what the original Battlefield, or Battlefronts, my bad, I think they encapsulated that. Man, I'm starting to, like, ramble. They just encapsulated, like, what Conquest was. Galactic Conquest, where, you know, you have giant points all across this map. And so, you know, when you have 4 heroes per side, there's 5 points. You know, they can't even have 1 per thing. So they could, you know, bum rush one of the points, but what's that going to do you any good if everybody else has the other 4 points? And the vehicles felt better then, because they weren't just, you know, you're not just dominating this one little stretch, this hallway down the jungle. No, there's a jungle. You're all over the place. And I think that's what this game's lacking. And that's what the new mode is supposed to encapsulate a little bit, but it's not here, and it's been way too long. I think I've gotten right to the summary of this thing. I think the game's fun. It's not a bad game. But it's not great. It doesn't live up to the legacy that Battlefront 2 back in the day set. Right? This is not a true Battlefront sequel to me, because it focuses just completely on the wrong thing. And because of just the lack of dedication, the lack of improvements, it's a dead game now. I mean, I don't want to say nobody's playing it anymore, but you know, you're kind of limited to like the main game modes, because it's been a year and a half and they haven't done much with it. And because of that, and I know that's because of the backlash, and that's all EA's fault, but you know, what does that leave us as the fans to do? It's just disheartening. So unfortunately, it hasn't changed much. It's still Battlefront 2, just without microtransactions, and I think overall that kind of kills it. That's just the summary. I hope you guys enjoyed my look back on Battlefront 2. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I'm honestly considering doing a full review of this game, but I think if I'm going to do that justice, I need to wait until they're done with this season of content. I'm fairly confident this is going to be the last season of content. I don't see EA making, you know, more maps and more modes and stuff after this, just because at the rate they're going, it's already a dead game. There's not much more to add. But I don't think I'm doing it justice if I try to, you know, review it now, and then in, you know, a month they add something significant that has the potential, only the potential though, to just completely revamp and, you know, rekindle the heart in this game. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed my outlook. If you agree, if you disagree, just let me know. Like, I want to get some of your guys' opinions, because obviously Battlefront 2 has been a very controversial topic in the gaming industry for a long time. So let me know. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. I hope to see you guys in the game.